guys, Cassie here. Welcome back to my channel. Today it's a super exciting day because we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, romance. Whether it's the main purpose of the story or 2 or 3 scenes dispersed through an epic action adventure, the romantic subplot is my favorite part of any story. I love to write romance, I love to read romance, and I love to talk about writing and reading romance. So let's talk about it. In descending order, here are my top 5 favorite tropes in romance. Number 5, pretend romance that turns real. I totally love when, for whatever reason, 2 characters have to pretend to be a couple. Maybe they're detectives going undercover, maybe it's a green card marriage, and then they discover that maybe their feelings weren't so fake after all. A great example of this trope would be Katniss and Peeta from The Hunger Games. One of my favorite moments in stories that involve this trope is that aha moment when one of the characters finally realizes that their feelings are real. And it doesn't always have to be the protagonist having this aha moment. One of my favorite scenes in Catching Fire is, spoiler alert, when Peeta gets zapped by the electric force field. His heart stops, Katniss loses her you-know-what, and when he finally comes to and she's shaking and crying and hugging him, trusty old Finnick is quietly observing the exchange. Afterwards, Finnick admits to Katniss that he had previously believed their relationship to be a sham. However, upon witnessing her reaction to Peeta's presumed death, he was convinced that she truly does love him. It's a great moment because we get that same aha feeling, but our protagonist, Katniss, still isn't quite convinced herself, providing the opportunity for another aha moment of her own later in the series. Number 4, best friends who seamlessly fall for each other. I love this trope because when it's done well, it can feel so real and authentic. It's not as much of an unrealistic fairy tale as some of the other tropes that I love. This is how a lot of couples meet in real life and fall in love, so it's nice to see it represented in the media sometimes. Now, this trope often comes along with other tropes attached, because, you know, we need conflict of some kind. Something has to be keeping the besties from realizing their true feelings for each other, and usually that something is a third person. Now, I'm not completely against love triangles, but they're not always my favorite, and they do very often err on the side of being cliché. Ideally, I prefer the besties to lovers trope to be a little more seamless than boy likes girl, but girl doesn't like boy because girl likes other boys, but oh no, other boy is a jerk, and girl realizes that boy number 1 was her soulmate all along. Don't get me wrong, I can enjoy that story too. When I talk about best friends falling in love, I'm picturing more of a Ron and Hermione kind of situation. A couple other examples of this trope that I feel were done well include, slight spoiler alert for season 2 of 13 Reasons Why, Jessica and Alex from 13 Reasons Why, and one of my personal favorite movie couples, so adorable, Gigi and Alex from He's Just Not That Into You. Turns out he is actually kind of into her. Number 3, enemies turned lovers. Who doesn't love a good heated argument turned makeout sesh? Seriously though, I feel like this is kind of a terrible trope for us to love so much, because it's probably not the perfect picture of a healthy relationship in reality, but it's just so good. One of my favorite examples of this trope, which again is from a TV show because honestly I read surprisingly little for being an author, is Lois and Clark from Smallville. I feel like they had the perfect amount of bickering and disagreement without going so far as to make it absolutely ridiculous that they ultimately end up together. Of course, the Smallville story also benefits from the fact that we Superman fans already know that Lois Lane is his gal the first time she enters the scene, but from day one we already view their squabbling as harmless lovers quarreling. Lois Lane? She's bossy. She's stuck up, she's rude, I can't stand her. Oh, he's saying all that because he loves her. Aww. For me, the enemies turned lovers trope is kind of a delicate balance. I've seen it done really well, as in Pride and Prejudice, but I've also seen it done really, really poorly. Ultimately, it all comes down to the fact that for your reader to root for a relationship, it has to be believable and it has to be healthy. I mean, for the most part. Number 2. Age-gap relationships. I have no idea why I love this trope so dang much, but I seriously cannot get enough. Like seriously, give me more. Right now. Please and thank you. It doesn't matter if it's an older man and a younger woman, or an older woman and a younger man, I love it. I love it all. This sort of ties in with my number 1 favorite trope, which I'll get to in a second, but although this one is a bit more specific, I love it enough that it deserves its own place on my list. A good example of an age gap relationship that's full of controversy and moral gray areas, but still manages to make you, or at least me, root for the couple is Aria Montgomery and Ezra Fitz from Pretty Little Liars. Now, I believe Pretty Little Liars is based off of a book series, but I haven't read it, so I'm strictly talking about the TV show here, yet again. I shipped Ezra hard from the very beginning, and honestly, I would have been happy if the entire show was just about their relationship. I haven't actually finished the series, so I have no idea if they end up together in the end, but I'm rewatching it now and crossing my fingers for a fairy tale ending for Ezra. And if you've seen the end of Pretty Little Liars and that doesn't happen, please do not crush my dreams in the comments. Okay, just let me have this. Also, fun fact, I am currently working on my own age gap relationship story, and it is pretty much all I think about every second of every day, always and forever. And last but certainly not least, number 1, forbidden romance. Also falling under this category would be secret romance. That's cool too. It is without a doubt my favorite romantic trope ever. I would love to go on and on about this trope and how much I love it and every reason why, but honestly, that's kind of a whole video on its own. So that's what I'm gonna do. Next week, I will be discussing the ins and outs of the forbidden romance trope, how to do it well, what to avoid, and why we all love it so dang much. So for now, I'll just leave you with a recommendation for a good forbidden romance story. It's a story about a criminal psychologist, Sarah Parker, working for the NYPD to track down a notorious killer. As fate intercedes, Sarah finds herself alone, face to face with the object of the manhunt. She offers her companionship to the lonely man in exchange for the ensured safety of his next victim. As their connection builds and she learns more about his dark past, Sarah struggles with the conflict of remembering the danger of her situation in the midst of embracing her increasing feelings of compassion, maybe even love, for the man she is supposed to fear. This book is called Keep No Record. It's very close to my heart. You can find it on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. And in case you haven't figured it out already, it was written by me. So if that sounds interesting to you, check it out. Let me know what you think. Bonus! Teasing the first kiss. I'm adding this one as a bonus because it's not really plot, genre, or category specific. You can and should incorporate this trope into any and every romance you ever write. Nothing kills the romantic anticipation in a reader faster than rushing into the first kiss. I was reading a book once, I won't name names because I'm not here to bash anybody, but I swear within like chapter 1 or 2, the couple, who had just met that day, by the way, had a big passionate first kiss. And on top of that, nearly 2 chapters later, they were having sex. It was a total buzzkill. It stripped away all of the exciting romantic anticipation and left me, the reader, with essentially nothing to look forward to. Don't do that. You want to tease the first kiss as long as possible and as many times as possible. Okay, maybe not as many times as possible because that could get a little tired. But in my opinion, you really can't go wrong with teasing the first kiss at least 2 or 3 times before it actually happens. However, this doesn't mean that you can't have any fun, exciting, sexy moments, or that you have to keep your couple apart for the entire book until the end when they can finally kiss. If you want to see a great example of successfully teasing the first kiss multiple times while still retaining awesome, fun, flirty, sexy goodness in your story, read The Savior's Champion by Jenna Maressi. You will not regret it. Seriously, follow Shia LaBeouf's advice and just do it. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my favorite tropes in romance. If you did, hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos from me in the future, subscribe below. And hey, let me know some of your favorite tropes in the comments section below. I seriously can't get enough of them. I could watch trope videos all day long. Eat it up. And until next time, have a great day. Bye!